Hello here. This is Demonic yet again with another review slash trophy review, of course, of Final Fantasy Type-0 HD for the PS4. Review will be first, followed by trophy review. Of course, if you don't care about trophies, platinuming, or anything like that, you can just totally ignore the second half of this video. But I will be going with the review first. Review of the game, gameplay. I really do like the gameplay of the game. You are given multiple characters to play with, and they do all have their own style of play. They all use different weapons. They all have different personalities, and that is something I do appreciate because it allows people to find their favorite one and have their favorite one instead of people playing the game and all these characters and not liking a single one of them. As you can see here, here are all the characters. 9, they all are based off a deck of cards, of course. 9, King, Queen, Jack, Ace, Deuce. They all tend to use different weapons, going from snake sword, a flute, bow, fist, scythe. You must know Slice, Queen, and 7 are my favorite. But it's really nice to see that that they took the time to give characters different weapons and give them their own weapon set. They all play differently. Some characters you're more close range, of course. Others you're more far range. As soon as I enter a battle, I'll go ahead and show you some of that. The story of the game was something I was really hyped for when playing this game, because they were going for they were going definitely for a mature audience with their story. I think it was just rated mature and just in general, and that was something that was really interesting to me. Unfortunately, the story I kind of just dozed out. I don't even want to say before halfway through. It wasn't just as interesting as I thought it would be. It's the story of these students, Class 0, and their journey as classmates and everything, as the world itself is in a war. Sorry, and their struggles to help save each other, save the world, and as usual, all that jazz.
Come on. Regret it now.
So of course, standard. They do have chocobos in here. You can raise and make your own, of course. I honestly don't find any point to it. You don't get anything out of it. You're just raising chocobos, which you can use in the world map to travel around quicker. But outside that, I don't find any difference between different chocobos other than like their skin being different. But that's something you can do. The music for the game I actually do appreciate a lot. There's not even a single song that I didn't like. Actually, there's probably like one now that I think about it. But most of the battle music I freaking love. Battle music is probably my favorite.
Don't even try.
So, well then again, that's how it is for every Final Fantasy game. I can't think of a Final Fantasy game on top of my head that had bad music. And it's nice to know that Type-0 did not fail in that department. Considering this is a PC port, so with that, the graphics of the game are definitely upscaled. You'll definitely notice the upscales of the graphics, but it still, as you can see, it looks pretty nice for a port of a PSP game. It was, they did, once again, upscale it. They didn't necessarily redo all the graphics and go all out. So, I mean, you can see, you can look at her hair, eyes don't blink, mouth doesn't move when she talks. He does breathe, Cape has physics, so I do appreciate it. Once again, it's the upscaling of a game, so I wasn't expecting too much with the graphics, as you can see with this wall right here. The characters themselves, once again, because this, shocking enough, this game wasn't all that long, or at least I didn't think so compared to other Final Fantasy games. So the characters themselves are kind of one personality wise. No one truly really changes from their when you first meet them and their actual in-game character. They pretty much all have the same personality from when they start to when they end. Slightly different. But the characters, because there's not a lot of dialogue, there's not really all that much cutscenes of them talking. The characters themselves are kind of stick to their personalities. Square Enix did decide to give them, so the jolly character will be jolly, and that's pretty much that's their whole personality right there. The serious character is serious. It's pretty much like the Seven Dwarfs. You can see the jolly character being serious, or the Dutsy character not being Dutsy. But overall, I did like the characters. I do like their uniqueness and everything. The gameplay was definitely something that they probably looked at Crisis Core and improved on. You no longer have to, find your moves and then select them, which I appreciated. So going through your action bar, or what is it called, Crisis Core, where you had to find it and use it, and then your attacks were just pretty much one. You had a combo, and then by the first battle, second battle, you already seen it, 4 million times. One thing I do like about this game is that they did pick up from the Cydia, is that your moves are different depending on how you hold your left stick when you actually perform them. So this is just holding square, basic attack. This is holding forward in square, which squares your attack button. Does more of a long range move. This is holding back and square. It does more of around you. At least for 7. It's not the same for everyone. So as soon as I enter another one, I'll show you, because in the game you are able to customize them. Unfortunately, there are quite a few characters, so if you're at least keeping a balanced team, you're going to be customizing for a little bit, because you're doing it for each and every single character. So here's another one. So this is forward and X. This is just, lock onto another one.
Going somewhere?
This is just standard X. You kind of reach out your snake sword, and then from there you can pull in enemies or pull into them yourself. I meant to keep on fighting. But they're pretty cool because they do have their own abilities that you can level up, and they do improve as you do so. I have to go do ADemonicShadow Chocobo too. Chocobo. But you are able to customize and improve moves. As you level up, you do get AP. AP is used to help improve your skills. As soon as I find it, that's equipment. There you go. Promotions. The moves, once again improve on: increase damage, increase hits, increase power, less AG use, which is a bar that fills up in combat, and then when it's maxed out, you can use it for your abilities here, because your abilities, other than your standard attack, do use some of that AG and uses some of that AG. Casting magic uses that AG. Those along the line of things. Actually, I'm sorry, magic does not. Magic just uses up your magic bar, of course, but using your abilities outside your standard attack do use your AG. AP, once again, you learn as you level up, and you use it to unlock more abilities, use it to unlock stronger abilities, use it to increase dodges, increase charge attacks, increased range, increased types of effects that happen with the weapon, with the attacks. And as you can see, there's quite a few. Everyone has their standard or default movement speed, dodges, untouchable, quick reflexes, stuff like that. And they're all pretty different. No one, at least in my experience, had any moves that were the same, so it's pretty cool for that. You also have your Odins, which you can only summon. You can only use to you can only use by sacrificing one of your heroes. Which when you do, you bring back your heroes. They're gone until the mission's over. So if you lose your favorite character in the first 5 minutes of the mission, you can't use them until the next mission. But you can sacrifice characters to summon Odins, which is pretty cool because you can you sacrifice some of the characters you don't like, some of the weaker characters, or even before you die, you can go ahead and sacrifice them, because if they're about to die, you might as well, you know, summon an Odin and go ahead and they're pretty fun to play with. If they're leveled, and you know, if they're leveled, they're pretty much OP. Shiva, Odin being my favorite. But it's definitely worth trying out. Me, myself, unless you're really hyped for the game or you played a PSP and you're really, really looking forward for the game, I would not recommend playing, you know, paying $60 for it. I mean, I did, so I don't feel like I was, you know, I got my money's worth, at least to me, playing the game and platinuming it. If you were interested in getting it, which, you know, most of you guys probably did anyway, because it came with Final Fantasy 15 demo, which I don't blame you. But if you were interested in the game but not as much, you know, definitely pick it up if it's on sale. If you borrow it from a friend, you know, rent it, you know, whatever, it's definitely worth at least trying if you're a Final Fantasy fan. Would not say it's a must own just in general for, you know, any reason other than if you're a Final Fantasy fan, definitely must own. If you like RPGs, you know, definitely worth looking into. But that necessarily was the review of the game. I just wish the only thing, at least one of the only negatives are like real pains that you will notice every single time is the camera. The camera needs to be fixed. It needs to be something. It's just motion sickness, and I do apologize if you did get motion sickness. I know a few friends personally who can't play with close range characters because the camera's always moving. They always have to play as a long range character. But that necessarily was the review of the game. 8, 9, you know, 8.5 out of 10. But once again, I try not to label numbers, so you can just erase that from your memory. So we're moving on to trophy reviews. Trophy review of Type-0. If you don't care about that, you can go ahead and go about your life. If you do, yeah, go ahead and just continue watching. So, shockingly enough, if you have played a Final Fantasy game and tried platinuming it, this game is surprisingly easy compared to those. Final Fantasy 10, you know, getting Final Fantasy, you know, 10, 13, and even just going for 100% for, you know, 7, 8, 9, and all those other ones, I would say this was pretty easy. When I walked into this game, I figured this would be a game I probably wouldn't platinum, or, you know, a game I would not want to platinum just because of either how difficult it is. I probably would have done eventually anyway. But obtain platinum trophy, of course, that's the one you're going for. Complete, most of them are pretty standard and pretty easy, and you can get most of them done halfway through the game. Complete a mission without any casualties. You can easily just replay a mission at a high difficulty and do it. Harvest 10 phantoms. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce anything. Those are these items. Are these when you kill an enemy? It gives you this, which you use to level up magic, and it restores MP. So harvest 100 of them, harvest 500 of them. Once again, you'll get that eventually. Land kill strikes on enemies. At certain times during enemies and fighting, when you get their life low enough, you can instant kill them by having a red bar around them. If it's yellow, it's just a critical. I'm just way too strong to see that. Oh shoot, there it was. But land 20 of them, or land 100 of them. Once again, you will get that just naturally playing the game. Defeat 100 enemies, defeat 300 enemies. Once again, you complete that playing the game. Took down 20 Imperial soldiers, 100 Imperial soldiers. Standard. I mean, I'm fighting them right now. Complete an SO, which are objectives you get during a mission. Most of them contain defeat an enemy using magic. Defeat like 2 enemies using magic, defeat 2 enemies using your party leader, defeat the boss using your party leader, standard stuff like that. Pretty easy. One an encounterment in the overworld, which is what I'm doing right now. So just, you know, do one of those and you get the trophy. Do, 49 more, you'll get another trophy. Clear 3 missions, easy. Clear 15 missions, just do it on repeat, which you can do from the main menu. You'll get 3 missions just playing the game. Avoid the penalty for failing an SO, which once again is on the missions in an actual standard mission, or mini objectives and a mission. You fail it by whatever it is. So if it's say like kill a certain amount of enemies or do whatever in like 30 seconds, just not do it. When timer runs out, simply dodge, and preferably in a straight line. A yellow aura will appear underneath you, pretty big, but if you just keep dodging forward with pretty much any character, you'll dodge it. There's gonna be 3 or 4, and once you do that, you will get a trophy. Collect 5 unknown tags, 25 unknown tags throughout missions, and I believe sometimes the standard in the world, in cities and stuff like that, dungeons. You will find tags. Just collect 25 of them. Very simple. I got this naturally just playing the game. Acquire an airship, Switzer. Once again, I'm bad at pronouncing. I apologize. That was kind of difficult. The only requirements is be pretty far in the game. You have to be a certain distance in the game to even unlock it. Chapter 7. After you defeat Chapter 7 Part 1, there will be a Part 2. Just apparently I can't. It's relatively simple. You just got to defeat. There's actually a list of objectives, but it's not too hard if you're at the recommended level. It's really not. Capture a chocobo. I actually have to load a different save for this, but capture a chocobo, capture 30 chocobos. They're chocobos just laying out in the middle of the open world that you just go up to them per square and you capture them. Not all that difficult. Complete hatch 5 chocobos from the chocobo ranch, hatch 100. I believe I found an item where it gave me like 100, which is why I have 92 of a chocobo breed, if you saw. Once again, they every 6 hours, so when you go out into the open world, that itself is 6 hours, so you can pretty much go out in the open world. Well, first put your chocobo to breed, go out into the open world, come back, go to your chocobo ranch, hatch them, go back, and just rinse and repeat. You'll more than likely, especially if you use the item I did, which I naturally just got playing the game, you will definitely, get that trophy. You may have to grind it out if you didn't find it towards the end, because there is a point of no return. Complete a secret training. When I loaded this save, I was at a secret training place. The person pretty much, there's a place to train, and then there's a place to secret train, which secret training is that it just levels up your character offline. It only goes up to 24 hours, which is something that I abuse, not necessarily abuse, but use to help level me up as I was playing other games. Once you do that, you'll get a trophy. Defeat a total of 20 enemies, 100 enemies in the training simulation. Once again, very simple. Liberate and visit all cities. You'll get this at the end of the game. Once again, before the point of no return, just go out to the cities. Not all that hard. You will find it. Teacher's pet. In the classroom, there's a muggle you can talk to. Just it's helped to help train you. It's like little mini lessons, but you're pretty much on repeat. So if you do a few of them, you'll start hearing the same dialogue again. Just sit through one of them, trophy. Talk with a muggle from all 13 classes. This does require you just to explore the school itself, which isn't that hard, yeah, it's not that hard. Complete a mission using only prime cadets. Every time you start a mission, there will be some of your team that will be highlighted in yellow. You simply just pick all the ones that are highlighted in yellow and do the mission, and of course win. Let me just find you one real quick. First mission, blah blah blah. Get, as you can see here, so they switch randomly, so using these 4 characters and just beating it will get you to prime cadets. They're also stronger. Not recommended to just play as prime cadets for any reason throughout the game unless they're really higher, a really higher level than the requirement of the mission. Defeat an enemy with an explosion from a fuel tank. There are fuel tanks on some maps. Hit one when the enemy's near it, it'll blow up. Wow. Search 3, surrendering Imperial soldiers. Search for 15. If you defeat the leader of the area, all the other enemies will surrender. If you just go up to them and talk to them, they'll give you an item, and that's once you do that 15 times, you're done. The secret trophies for the game, half of them are, not even half of them, yeah, but about half of them are just story related. Army of One, beat a mission with just 1 player. Lonely Battle, beat the game with just 2 players. A Select Few, beat a mission with 3 people. Earn an S rank on a mission. You'll more than likely naturally get this on the second mission if you're paying attention and know how to, and quickly discover how to do it, or at least discover how to work it, the mechanics of it. Communicating with the gods, forging Beastmaster, which is, you know, forging a covenant with 6 Odins. You can easily get this if you don't play on the lowest difficulty. If you play an officer, you'll get this just naturally playing the game, as some of the requirements to getting some of them is just beating the mission and getting it from the boss. Won a battle, a fine-tuned encounter. When you're out in the open world, if you defeat a group of enemies, it'll ask you if you want to fight or retreat. If you fight, the enemies are stronger and they don't actually respawn, but it gives you a new group of enemies. Just do that in a 5-chain battle and you will win. So I believe it would be 6 wins then. Defeat 500 enemies. Dodge 500 enemy attacks. Once again, you'll naturally get that through the game. And then the last one is shoot down 50 enemies in the Sitzers, which is an airship, which once again is one of the things you need to do as a later trophy with acquiring it. As soon as you acquire it, you'll be able to fly it, shoot 50 enemies, and bam, you will get trophies. Trophies, I necessarily don't believe it takes that long. You can get it all on one playthrough. Of course, if you go past No Point of Return, then you will definitely have to go to New Game Plus. Outside that, I don't necessarily find it too hard. It's pretty easy. They're pretty straightforward. You can do a lot of them as you go. Most of them you will do as you go. By the time you're done, you'll probably have like 4 or 5 trophies. You actually need to get some assistance on with getting it done and finding it. But outside that, Final Fantasy Type-0 HD, good game to get. Trophy platinuming it, not that hard, and also not that long either. You don't have to grind that much as you did with other Final Fantasy games. So if you platinum Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 13, you'll find Type-0 a whole lot easier and a whole lot stressful. But that is a review. I do want to thank you. My Twitch, Twitter, you don't need my YouTube, the Facebook group I'm in, and all those links will be in the description below. You can go ahead and click on them, support you know, your fellow YouTuber, Twitcher, Twitter, you know, whatever. This is Demonic out, and until the next review,